If you're engaging in these behaviors that I'm going to go over today, you're making your social anxiety worse. My name is Diana Garcia. I'm a licensed mental health counselor, owner of a private practice called Nurturing Minds Counseling. All right, let's jump into today's video. Today, we're going to talk about the 4 components of what's called the safety mode. So safety mode is actually a problem when it comes to social anxiety. So social anxiety is really this concern that you're going to be judged or rejected from the social group. And so that leads you to either engage in behaviors to avoid social settings or just being highly self-conscious or self-critical when you're in those situations. And actually you can watch this video to learn signs to spot social anxiety. But anyways, coming back to this whole goal of the safety mode is to make sure that you're staying safe. So this mode's all about making sure you're protecting yourself from perceived social danger. Social danger, again, is about this fear that you're going to get judged or rejected from the group. So the 4 components of safety mode are the ones that I'm going to talk about today. The problem is that engaging in these behaviors actually makes your social anxiety worse, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when I go through each one. Okay, the first component is safety behavior. So as you can see from the screen here, it's all about really engaging in behaviors that are going to try to keep you safe, again, from that perceived social danger. So that really looks like a lot of avoidance. So whether that looks like avoiding, like saying no to invites, whether that's parties or whether that's more intimate settings, even if you kind of want to go, or maybe your partner wants to go, or your friends want you to go. So again, it's saying no, like avoiding these situations. Maybe it's also when you are in these situations, it's engaging in behaviors such as like only talking to people that you already know. So like safe people, maybe only like staying in the kitchen so other people you can't really engage in the event. Maybe it's really not engaging. So you're there, but you are like scrolling on your phone, right? And other people might not even know like that you're just nervous because they just see you kind of scrolling away, right? So it's any behavior that you're doing, safety behavior, to make sure that you're staying safe. One of the problems with safety behaviors, definitely outright avoidance isn't encouraged when it comes to social anxiety or any anxiety really. But when you're avoiding social situations, you're not really building that tolerance or teaching yourself, having the experience that you can actually successfully handle these social experiences, that this worst case scenario that your mind tells you is going to happen isn't going to happen. And if anything close to that happens, that you can actually be okay. And the other part is that you're really missing out. If, again, these are situations that you want to attend to, you're missing out on the potential for social connection. So that's the other piece. There's this misperception that people with social anxiety don't care about social connections. It's actually the complete opposite. They're really concerned about being judged and rejected, so they get really nervous, right? But sometimes avoidance feels a little bit safer. Tell me in the comments below, what are some safety behaviors that you've noticed? Let me know by commenting below. Component number 2 is focusing on social danger. So whether that's like really focusing on what you're most nervous about, that can look like 2 kind of general categories. One being internally focused, so that's looking, kind of picking yourself apart per se, so like kind of noticing like how you're engaging, being really self-critical, thinking like, oh, they're gonna know that I'm sweating or that I'm blushing or that my heart's starting to beat faster. So just really kind of focusing on the internal, right? So internally focused. Or it can also be externally focused, like looking for signs that other people are judging you or disapproving of you. So thinking like, oh, that person gave me a weird look, right? And when you like check that with your friends or partner, they're like, nope, I didn't see that, right? Or no, that doesn't seem right. So again, it's like you're focusing or scrutinizing anything that potentially could signal that you're going to be rejected or judged. And you could do both, right? So both of these are acting on each other. And again, this can also act on the first component, right? So if you start noticing this and you think like you're buying into those thoughts that, oh yeah, they are judging me. You know what? Let me go to the kitchen, right? Let me go to a safe space, right? Third component is resisting anxious feelings. So one component of anxiety is that physical symptoms do at some point get triggered, right? So that fight, flight, or freeze response gets activated. And so they are physical symptoms of anxiety, like sweating, your heart beating, blushing, getting hot, getting cold. So whatever that looks like for you, but this really kind of common pattern is that there's this rule that you can't have these feelings. So it's like physical symptoms of anxiety, not okay. And you do everything in your power to avoid or resist having these feelings. And even when you start noticing them, you quickly react or quickly spiral to say like danger, warning, not okay, right? So you do a lot of efforts to resist or avoid these anxious feelings. And again, that can go back to the first one of like avoiding situations so you don't trigger these. That can also go back to the second one, where if you're focused either internally or externally, you're going to be hyper aware if you start noticing any of these physical symptoms, and then really quickly do whatever you can in your power to resist them. So there's not a lot of willingness or openness to whatever physical symptoms of anxiety show up. Component is buying into anxious thoughts. So that can look like before an event when you're thinking of a social event, or during an event, anything related to kind of your social anxiety, those thoughts, whether it's like, man, they're gonna think I'm such a loser, or man, my outfit looks off or outdated, right? Whatever those anxious thoughts are, automatically buying into them, believing that they're true, and getting hooked by them, right? So when you believe them, then you start to change your behaviors because of them, right? So if we go to the example where you think, oh gosh, they gave me a weird look, they must think, like, they must be judging me, they must think I'm so weird. You know what? I'm actually going to leave this party because I don't want to be judged, right? So you're buying into automatically these thoughts without being able to really pause or create some distance to kind of recognize, is buying into this thought helpful for you? So that's a fourth component of these safety mode. So let me know in the comments below, type yes if you buy into some anxious thoughts, whether that's before an event or during an event. To help you on your anxiety journey, I encourage you to subscribe now to my channel, and I encourage you to watch this video next to help you on your anxiety journey. And as always, I encourage you to continue nurturing your mind, body, and soul, whatever that looks like for you. Thanks, guys.